Hey, everybody, welcome to the Strategy Game Podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Shippey, and today we're diving into messaging. So, today we're talking about content creation, and for a lot of us, our livelihood relies on consistent content creation because content is the way that people engage with us. Content is the way that people learn who we are, how we operate, what we stand for, what our brand identity is, and what we offer. And so, without our words and without our messaging formatting and our channels being right, people aren't going to be in a position to engage with us in the way that we want, because we ultimately want to drive them to pay us for our services or our offerings, or if we're a nonprofit, to support our nonprofit or be a part of our nonprofit movement. So let's talk about how we define our messaging, how we define our content creation, and why we do this. So we do this because if we can clearly communicate our value and our offerings concisely, and we can translate our strategy into that messaging, we'll be able to resonate with people. And so we've been working on talking through the core components of our strategy this last 6 to 8 weeks. We've unveiled each piece of the strategy map that we talk about in our e-course called the Strategy Masterclass, and we'll put a link to it in the show notes. If you've been enjoying these episodes and you want to go through this for yourself, you can grab the link in the show notes. So after we've iterated on these core components of our strategy, our messaging happens. And messaging, in my view, is really the outflow of the strategy work. So remember when we did those user personas and we talked about who are you serving? Who are your audiences and how are they segmented? What differentiates them? And what do they want at the core? So we need to identify their core needs, right? Their underlying needs, not the needs on the surface, but the underlying needs. And I'll give you an example of this. One of our mastermind participants was talking about the services that they provide. And while they provide tangible services, the underlying need that they meet is peace of mind. They provide peace of mind for their clients. So I want you to think about who you serve and then what they really want on the deepest level. And then I want you to think about how you help them solve their problem or meet their need. So in this case, how do you help them achieve peace of mind? Can you put that into words? Does your marketing and your messaging convey that? Do they realize that? Because sometimes we need to help people, and this is why messaging is so important, bring the subconscious to the conscious. So we have to talk them through. We have to put words to that for them because they haven't made that connection themselves. And there is so much content being bombarded at people these days that they don't have the time to stop and make those connections for themselves. So they need us to do it for them. And that's why this is so hard, because you have the insider language as the founder or the CEO or the marketing manager of your organization, but you don't have the language, right? The language that's harder to get to is the one-liner or the 3 lines, right? That talk about exactly what you do and how you meet their deepest needs tangibly. So as you're thinking about your offerings, compare that to the deep needs and make sure that you're speaking to both of those things in your marketing language. So how do you solve the problem or meet the need of your customers? And if you have several persona groups, which I recommend that you do if you segmented your audience, I want you to list them out. And we're going to drop a PDF in the show notes, another free PDF for you to download that speaks to walking you through this process, and you can identify your personas and their greatest problem or need, because you're going to see differences and nuances in these that you're going to want to speak to, and it will determine where you market to them, how you market to them, and the language that you use, right, to speak back to them, because their priorities are different. So while there may be a few common threads that run through the messaging, and I've talked with several clients about this over the past week, the nuances and priorities and their priorities as a buyer are going to be different. And so you're going to want to make sure that you're aware of those distinctions so that you can train your team to speak that language. Okay, which buyer persona am I speaking with here? What are their greatest priorities? What can I discern right now? And then how I'm going to speak back to them is going to reflect their priorities, because it's about serving them, right? So when we think about serving them first with that mentality, then we're able to convey that in our messaging. So how do they get it? Quickly and most conveniently. So tell them what to do to buy it. Does your messaging speak to that? And this is what I've been thinking about a lot with messaging. People are looking for leaders that are going to tell them what to do. And I see this issue with a lot of entrepreneurs. They haven't yet been able to tell their people where to get it very clearly and why they need it. Tell them what to do. Move them through a process that nurtures the customer, right? So it builds trust with them. They get to know you, you know them, and then speak that language back to them in terms of their priorities and tell them where they can go to get it. And then I love this one. This is great. How do you communicate delight? So what picture of an outcome are you painting for them? So once you buy this, you won't have to worry about X, Y, and Z. Or go back to the client who's speaking to providing peace of mind, right, through their services. So once you have us, you are going to have peace of mind in your business, because those things that you don't want to do are going to be completely handled for you. You're not going to have to worry about it, because we have a reputable reputation in the community. We're trustworthy and we handle it for you. So think through those things. What is that for you? How do you communicate delight to them? What picture or outcome are you providing for them? And then what I want you to do is ask a couple clients who fit your target personas to answer these questions from an outside perspective. This can be a short email survey. This can be a short phone conversation, and really get a sense to verify the assumptions that you're making. Because personas and the messaging, we're making assumptions about what we think their deepest needs are, right? And how we think they want to buy our product, right? In terms of how we're speaking back to them. So it's always good to verify this. So listen to how they describe what you sell and how they want to get it, and what deepest need that it meets for them, or what problems it solves for them, right? And how they want to receive it. So this is going to allow you, and we include a survey in this PDF guide that you can send to your customers or your clients to be able to record your findings on this. And then what you're going to be able to do is list out any gaps you identified and the action steps that you need to take. So this is going to really form the foundation of your messaging. And we're going to go through a couple weeks talking about messaging. So this is just the beginning. So hang with me as we go through this messaging framework, where we bridge any gaps in the experience. We listen to our customers and we become real clear on what it is that they want. And then we speak to those things in our messaging so that they can't go without our services, because it identifies and resonates so strongly with them. And there's also a recommended resource in here. If you guys haven't heard of StoryBrand, Donald Miller is definitely a game changer in the marketing industry, and he has made messaging so simple with his framework. So I would definitely check out storybrand.com, and we'll be talking more about it in the coming weeks. But he's also a really great resource once you want to translate this into your website framework, how you're going to communicate via email, on your social channels, all of those things. And we'll be diving into that more in the weeks to come. So thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to grab that free PDF in the show notes.